What is the best Thomas movie? I know that's a question that Thomas fans have, and usually have different opinions to, but most of them do. It seems similar when it comes to like what's the top three made. In most people I see, even when I say what their favorite Thomas movie is for the top three, would usually have to say same thing. At the top is either Solo's Legend of the Lost Treasure or The Adventure Begins, and not too far behind that is Tale of the Brave. And seeing as it's Halloween and this could kind of count as a spooky film, I think now's a good time to do a retrospective on this feature. I don't think I'll have too much to say about this film, but I do definitely think that this is easily a top 3 Thomas film. Hands down. I might as well start off with the characters, because I think that's the best thing that this movie does. As it takes these personalities and make them seem very interesting and enjoyable. Or in this film, Percy is the main character. Now, this isn't the first time he was a protagonist of the film, as he was the protagonist in the 2011 feature, A of the Diesels, which is considered by many to be one of the worst Thomas films. And yet, I didn't really care too much with Percy as the main character in that film, but I really did like him as the main character of this feature, because as it gives him a solid arc about outlet, and that it's okay to have fears, but the bravest engines are able to fight through them no matter how scared they are. It's honestly a really interesting lesson for kids. And I can imagine many people will find themselves invested with Percy because of that. But of course, as this is a Thomas and Friends movie, you can't go through this movie without Thomas. And he's honestly given a really interesting role here. I really like is how he's presented as more as the detective character. The one that's trying to figure out the clues of the landslide that happened at the clay pit. It's especially when you see some weird footprint in the rocks, and wants to discover what caused them, as they're unlike anything he's seen before. Or as a result, this helps put Thomas and Percy's friendship to the test in a very interesting way. I really love how even though Thomas wants to be there to support his friend, and after Thomas goes through all the evidence he has seen, he can't really stand up for Percy because he doesn't think it was a monster that created all those footprints. It's honestly a lot more believable of why there's a rift between Thomas and Percy in this film than there was in Day of the Diesels. And when Percy gets really cross at Thomas for not believing in him, I really believe it, and it therefore a really emotional moment. When Percy snapped at Thomas, which also adds into an element I really like, on that this film is honestly very heartwarming. I mean, even though this is a bit more of a spooky feature, the heart is definitely in the right place. It's where it does do a good job of showing Percy's friendship with Thomas, James, and the new character, Gator. But let's get into those two characters. James is presented as the sort of, kind of, maybe antagonist of the feature. And I honestly really like him in this role. He wants to be the type of engine that is seen as the bravest of them all. Or wants to stop at anything to show everyone on Solo that he is the bravest. And when Percy slightly starts to get his confidence back, James decides to strike like back and create a scrap monster to scare the life out of Percy. See. Also, so I did already set at the top. Thomas and Percy had the heart of the feature. Chat. I honestly really like the way Thomas and James was presented. As soon as Thomas finds out what James did, he's like, yeah, that's not right. Like, James, you need to find Percy down and apologise. That he does not approve of James' methods and is very disappointed. I really love when Thomas believes that Percy's at the cliff, Apis, and tries to get James to help him. What? You have to come. You need to apologise, and you're not scared, are you? Which also leads to a point I really like about this film, and that is the dialogue and banter is absolutely top tier. This honestly feels like writing from the classic 6 seasons 1 and 5. With the way the characters would make cheeky remarks at one another, and have some great banter. Which is mainly shown with Emily. Her role is minor, but I always love the little bit of banter that she gives James throughout the feature. Be careful of that, James. Monsters are very hard to see in the dark. I really love of that bit. But it's not as funny as when James comes back into nap after his accident, and Emily replies with, Gator may have a slow opie boil or a tank, James, but that's nothing to be scared about. Out and the scene, it ends with Henry coming in with, thanks for delivering the flying kipper for me, James. Only you're meant to deliver the fish, not throw them back in the water. I love that line for so many reasons. Because it reminds me of a Emily line that was set to Henry in the season 5 episode, Something in the Air. That line honestly got a chuckle of me. So let's talk about the new characters. Because we have 4 new characters in this film. And going in order of their introduction, you've got Timothy, Marion, Gator, and Reg. Honestly, we can stop talking about Reg. He only appears in one scene, and they could have easily cut him out of the feature. And just made him a new character introduced for season 18. Which is a shame because I do like Reg, but I do think his role in the film was honestly pointless because he only appeared in that one scene. But with the other characters, I do like how Timothy and Marion were introduced. This is like new characters to help Bill and Ben out at the clay pits. And Gator was a fantastic new character. I like how Percy sees him as a role model, the bravest engine he's ever seen. However, even Gator admits that even brave engines such as himself, Alf can be scared. And I love it. It honestly offers a great moral to kids that even that if some of their heroes seem brave, that doesn't mean they don't have their own fears, and that's okay, because the bravest are the ones that are able to get through them in the end. And also, so the film gets intense, and the action in this film is surprisingly gripping and exciting, as there's a bit more of a spooky mystery element to the feature. It does help build up the tension. One of my favourite scenes in the film is when Percy first sees the shadow of Gator through the fog. Ogden is so much tension, and it's understandable of why Percy thinks Gator is a monster at first until he gets a closer look at him. That is a scene. And I really like. I've never seen. I really like. This was the Scrap Ant Monster scene. Yes, it was a trick on Percy. See, but the camera angles, the lighting, and the way the Scrap Monster moved in front of Percy added a lot of tension. It's probably near enough of a horror where I can imagine younger viewers getting scared of that scene. I don't remember if I was really that scared of this when I first saw the film, but I wouldn't be surprised if I was. I definitely feel like I've seen a lot more scary things from the show. Oh, and with all of this action, it leads to a thrilling and intense climax where even after everything James has done to him throughout the feature, Percy puts his fear aside and his great Avery and true courage show to save his friend and help him escape a terrible landslide, even if it means he gets stuck in it himself. It was honestly a really great moment for Percy, and what made his character really shine in this. I'll also talk about the songs quickly. Like every Thomas film, there are songs, and there are 3 songs. I didn't really care too much about them, and they're not really the best songs in a Thomas movie, but I surprisingly really did like Monsters Everywhere, well, with its spooky tone, and how it had a different feel to most other Thomas songs. Monsters everywhere, hiding in the trees, might just be behind the rocks, blowing in the breeze. So yeah, Tale of the Brave easily stands as one of the best Thomas movies. It has a phenomenal story, really great characters, it does intense action, as well as a lot of heart to give, and some decent songs. A huge must-watch for Thomas fans if you haven't yet seen it. It is one I often watch during Halloween times. I mean, not every Halloween, but for most Halloween times, I do put this film on because, well, it really fits with the season. And this is a really good movie that I really did enjoy. Okay, but I reviewed this film back in 2019. I gave it a 10 out of 10. And I think I'm going to still stick with that rating because, yeah, this is easily one of Thomas's best adventures. Just even if Percy's the main character. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye!